He walked into the guest room, expecting nothing unusual, but what he saw made his heart stop. The maid was pregnant, and the secret behind that baby was closer to home than he ever imagined.
The house was unusually quiet that afternoon. Rain tapped softly against the wide glass windows of the Santos family home in Laguna. Daniel Santos sat alone in the living room, his phone resting face down on the table, his thoughts louder than the storm outside. His wife, Marissa, had left early that morning, saying she needed time to think. They had been arguing for weeks, about money, distance, and things neither of them knew how to fix anymore. Daniel stood up and walked toward the hallway, planning to check if the doors were locked. That's when he noticed the light under the guest room door. It shouldn't have been on. Slowly, he pushed the door open. Inside, on the narrow bed, lay Lena, their live-in maid. She was fully clothed, curled on her side, one hand resting on her stomach. Her breathing was slow and uneven, like someone who had cried themselves to sleep. The room smelled faintly of medicine and rain-soaked fabric. Daniel froze. Lena was pregnant. He already knew that much. She had told Marissa weeks ago, quietly, nervously, almost expecting to be fired on the spot. But Marissa had surprised them both by allowing Lena to stay, at least until she figured out what to do. Still, seeing Lena like this felt different. Daniel didn't move. He just stood there, watching, unsure why his feet refused to step back. His mind began to race. Lena had arrived at their home almost a year earlier. She was polite, soft-spoken, always avoiding eye contact. She worked hard, never complained, and kept to herself. Daniel barely noticed her most days. Or at least, he thought he didn't. But recently, things had changed. Marissa had become distant. Late nights, silent dinners, unanswered questions. And Lena had started looking tired. Not just physically, but emotionally, like someone carrying more than just a child. Daniel took a step closer, then stopped. He told himself he was only checking if she was okay. Nothing more. That's when Lena stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, confusion flashing across her face when she saw Daniel standing there. She sat up quickly, panic replacing sleep. "Sir, I'm sorry," she said, her voice shaking. "I didn't mean to sleep here. I felt dizzy." Daniel raised his hands slightly, as if to calm her. "It's fine," he said. "You don't look well. Have you eaten?" Lena nodded, but the hesitation in her eyes betrayed her. There was an awkward silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Then she spoke, barely above a whisper. "Ma'am knows, right?" Daniel swallowed. "About the baby?" "Yes." Lena looked relieved, but only for a second. Then her gaze dropped to the floor. "She doesn't know everything," Lena said. That sentence hung in the air like a warning. Daniel felt his chest tighten. "What do you mean?" Lena hesitated, then shook her head. "I shouldn't say anything. I'm already causing enough trouble." Daniel wanted to leave. He knew he should. But instead, he asked the question that had been forming in his mind for weeks. "Is the baby's father someone I know?" Lena's silence was answer enough. Her fingers clenched the bedsheet. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Daniel felt dizzy now. "Is it someone from this house?" Lena finally looked up at him. Not guilty. Not accusing. Just tired. "Yes." The word echoed. Daniel's heart pounded. "My wife?" he asked, disbelief creeping into his voice. "Someone close to her?" Lena nodded again. She didn't say the name. She didn't have to. Everything suddenly made sense. The arguments, Marissa's coldness, the way she avoided Lena, the sudden decision to think things through away from home. Daniel stepped back, gripping the doorframe for support. "So that's why she let you stay," he muttered. "Out of guilt." Lena stood up slowly. "I never wanted this, sir. I tried to leave. She begged me not to tell you." The rain outside grew heavier. Daniel laughed bitterly. Not because it was funny, but because it hurt too much not to. How long? He asked. Months, Lena replied. Before I even knew I was pregnant. Daniel turned away, his reflection staring back at him from the window. A man who thought he understood his life, now realizing he had been living inside a carefully maintained lie. Marissa hadn't just betrayed him. She had built an entire secret around him. He looked back at Lena, who now stood there, unsure if she should apologize or disappear. You can rest, Daniel said finally. No one's throwing you out today. Lena's eyes widened. Sir, I need time, he continued. Time to decide what this all means. He closed the door gently behind him. As he returned to the living room, Daniel picked up his phone. There was a message from Marissa, sent just minutes earlier. We need to talk tonight. Daniel stared at the screen, his hand shaking. Yes, they did. Because secrets had a way of surfacing. And this one had already changed everything.